Lost my job at 32 and my partner on the brink of losing her visa. I can't waste my life, she said as I drowned in guilt for 3 months of neglect. Now she wants to end things before it's too late. Can I salvage my worth before it's really over? This is my first time posting, and I have a lengthy story to share. I am currently experiencing one of the lowest points in my life due to some recent changes in both my personal life and my career. Coupled with the fact that I have been emotionally isolated for years, I do not have anyone with whom to talk. I understand that interpretations will depend on the context I provide. However, this is the first occasion I have ever posted anything on any social media platform. I will do my best to present my story as clearly and concisely as possible. Please feel free to share your opinions. Career. I was an immigrant who relocated from Hong Kong to Canada 17 years ago due to my family declaring bankruptcy back home. I did not perform well in school due to culture shock, which led me to retreat into the world of video games, where I could cling to a semblance of familiarity while navigating through an unfamiliar environment. Consequently, I never officially graduated from high school, and although I was fortunate enough to gain access to post-secondary education, I was unable to earn a degree because I worked 2 part-time jobs to pay my own tuition and was involved in an unstable relationship at that time. As the program neared its conclusion, my relationship also ended. My partner at the time cheated on me as she sought a sustainable partner to secure her future. Honestly, I understand her perspective and I cannot blame her, but I was 21 and she was 20. The way that relationship concluded, along with several other factors, contributed to my emotional isolation, which I will explain shortly. From my past experiences, I have learned that good things happen only if I continue to improve myself. Thus, I began working out and searching for jobs that would either enhance my resume or provide transferable skills. I started working at a local hospital as a patient food service worker around 2015. Additionally, I worked at Starbucks and Joey Restaurant to support myself financially. I channeled all my energy into work and the gym. My life became a repetitive cycle of work, gym, sleep, and repeat. I had no full day off and no romantic relationships, yet I remained socially active. Fast forward to 2020. I gained a significant amount of lean muscle mass as noted by my peers. People complimented my physique everywhere I went, even while I was receiving vaccinations. Career-wise, I progressed from delivering trays to patients to becoming a supply coordinator and eventually a purchasing officer. While both positions were within the same department, I felt a sense of pride for what I accomplished despite my significant mistake of neglecting my academics. That was when my current relationship began. Since the relationship is not the main focus of this section, I will save the details for the next part. At the beginning of 2024, I accepted an opportunity to work for the federal government. The salary was decent, and it was primarily a remote job. Coincidentally, my car was totaled on December 21, 2024. The timing was ideal, and it marked a considerable increase in my annual income if I passed a 1-year probation period. This probation period consisted of 3 main phases, and one had to prove themselves adequate by achieving a required score through each phase. I failed at the last phase, and my contract was terminated exactly 1 year after I began working there, although I was told that I demonstrated an adequate skill set during some of the program's toughest parts. For the first time in my life, I was unemployed. That was January 2025, roughly 3 months ago. Since then, I have been staying home, reclusive, and retreating into the world of video games yet again. This time, I also neglected the person who cared for and supported me during my defeats, my soon-to-be ex-partner. If you are still following my story up to this point, I genuinely appreciate your patience. Thank you. Regarding my plan for the next chapter, I am currently researching 2 industries I want to explore: data analytics and tattooing. I understand that, for the time being, stability should be my primary focus. However, since I live at home and have no other variable costs aside from food and rent, I wish to pursue something I actually enjoy this time, moving toward a self-employed direction. Relationship. My partner and I have been dating for 4 years. She comes from a different Asian country, so we do not speak the same mother tongue, but English serves as our mutual language. We have been living together with my single mother for the last 3.5 years. She's the most supportive person I have ever met, although she often tends to hide her feelings. She is also very family-centered, having come from a loving family with some sibling conflicts. Overall, her family is a lovely contrast to my own. There are 4 primary reasons why this relationship is ending. 1. Her legal status in Canada is set to expire in December 2025. 2. The relationship dynamics between her, my mother, and sometimes myself. 3. My financial instability due to job loss, combined with a lack of motivation exhibited over the past 3 months. 4. She believes her opportunity cost in our relationship is significant, particularly because she is only 24. Elaborations. 1. Her visitor status is ending, as is her passport. Apparently, it can take anywhere from 3 to 12 months to renew her passport. This means she will have to leave the country in 7 months regardless of the other reasons listed below. 2. I have a very complicated relationship with my family. My parents divorced in 2019 and my father moved abroad. I moved out between 2012 and 2015 but returned home in 2016. I decided to stay with my mother after their divorce to support her mortgage and save on rent. Essentially, domestic violence has fragmented our family, causing me to avoid communication with both of my parents altogether. Regarding my partner, as an extension of me, she encounters the same treatment I endured in my mother's household. In fact, my other ex expressed the same sentiment while she briefly stayed at my parents' place. Between my partner and me, I like to think we were mostly compatible, aside from a few significant issues mentioned throughout this post. I have a combined type A and C personality. The more I care, the more easily I become frustrated about certain matters that I consider important. She has a combined type A and B personality, which contributes to her concerns about her expiring legal status. On multiple occasions, our conversations have resulted in undesirable outcomes due to my directness and ineffective communication style, leaving a lasting impact on our relationship. 3. I will play no victim in this narrative. I am a loser, and I cannot see my own reflection in the mirror. I took advantage of my loving partner over the last 3 months since losing my job, allowing myself an unrealistic grace period at her expense. Because I keep breaking my own promises, shifting from a 1-month break to 2 months and now 3 months, I would be disgusted with myself if I were in her position. Now that her status is expiring, with the potential for her to return and continue our relationship, she has chosen to end it because she may find a better life back home without me. The truth hurts, and I deserve it. We are currently discussing how to proceed with the separation, as there are still 7 months remaining. For the record, our conversations on this matter have been calm and mature. However, I am torn between ending it quickly or doing everything possible to make up for the time I mistreated her in the time remaining. I understand this action will not make it any easier when the time comes, but I cannot help but ponder how to end a relationship I treasured with such disappointment. I know I would be selfish to keep her without her seeing this through. I suggested we could spend a few months together so that I could repent for my mistakes. While she agreed, it was uncertain whether it was out of spite or uncertainty. She stated there was very little affection remaining, and she merely wanted to end things quickly so it would be easier for both of us to move on. I know it sounds foolish. She may not love me anymore, but I do, and I simply want her to remember me as something other than a disappointment. 4. She did not enjoy her time in Canada due to culture shock, the weather, and the cost of living. Alongside my financial limitations, which have impacted our ability to travel and enjoy a variety of activities, she is now contemplating all the possibilities without being held back by our relationship. Conclusion. I know I need to gather myself to start working out again, find a job, and secure my own place. However, my vision is obscured by emotion and guilt, and I lack anyone else to confide in, no family or friends. So here I am seeking a fresh perspective on my circumstances. What are your thoughts on my approach? Story 2. My reason turned into my ruin after I fought my porn addiction and transformed my life for her. Just when I thought I was winning her back, she confessed, "It's not your fault, it's mine." Now I'm left questioning if true love was ever real. How do I move on? I will begin by providing some explanation about the history of our relationship and how it ended up in this situation. This was a long-distance relationship, which I know not many people appreciate, but I ask you to try to understand. We met online in a game and we started as friends when we added each other on Discord. After a few days, we became very close, and as I understand it, this was due to our similar interests and the ease with which we got along. Soon after, we became a couple for about a year, and it got even better, as we seemed to be able to read each other's minds, setting goals we wanted to achieve when we finally met, motivating each other to work hard. During this time, I was not focused in grades 10 and 11, but because of her, I became focused in grade 12 and got into university to pursue my passion for business. She also accomplished what she wanted. The reason I was not focused before was that I broke up with my ex in grade 10 after she cheated on me, and I was feeling very low. I was addicted to pornography, was not sleeping well, and even faced health issues with my heart. However, because of her, I felt better in grade 12. My health improved, and I gained admission to university. The only problem was that I was still struggling with my addiction to pornography, a battle that many men face, especially after a breakup when you feel as though you will never find someone again. I recognize it seems foolish in hindsight, but at the time, it did not feel that way. When our anniversary approached, she discovered that I was having issues. I shared my accounts with her to demonstrate my loyalty, although she did not reciprocate, which I realize now was a red flag, but I did not care at the time. She learned that I was being flirtatious online and had an ongoing addiction to pornography, which she interpreted as cheating. I do not blame her for that interpretation. I fully acknowledge that what I did was wrong and I never lied to her. She uncovered it by reviewing my Discord account. I intended to confess to her, but honestly, how do you tell someone you love that you have been struggling with a pornography addiction for years, especially when it is difficult to overcome? She blocked me on all platforms, but the following day she added me back, stating, "I cannot let you go," and said she would give me another chance, but we would only be friends. This led to the next chapter of our relationship, which of course deteriorated from there. I took the second chance seriously and spent about 3 months improving myself, working out, spending more time with family, eliminating distractions that could lead me back to lustful thoughts, and going on long walks. Throughout those months, she did not text me much, but I did not hold it against her. I just hoped she would notice the effort I was making and realize how deeply I regretted my actions. What motivated me to combat my addiction and strive to become a better person was the thought of our shared goals and dreams. It is astonishing to reflect on how I got into university, how I overcame my addiction, and how I became fit through working out. It was all because that relationship meant everything to me. However, she soon gave up. She informed me that she was losing feelings, and I immediately attempted to explain my efforts, my accomplishments, and how I tried every day to reach out to her, but she ignored all of it, almost as if she were not interested in the person I had become. I respected her wishes and left her in peace. Shortly after, I unexpectedly reconnected with a friend from high school, someone I had assisted with her own relationship problems back then. We began talking, and I realized she was remarkable, beautiful, intelligent, determined, and she genuinely cared about me. Even when I was still lamenting over my ex, she kept urging me to move on, reminding me that I had changed and that my efforts mattered. After a few weeks, I started to develop feelings for her, and she revealed to me that she felt the same way. Then unexpectedly, my ex returned. At first, she said she merely wanted to have some casual conversations, but that quickly changed. When I spoke about my new friend, she became desperate, possibly even jealous. She began telling me how I was the best man she had ever had, how our dreams and goals together mattered, and she even requested to reconcile. She stated that if I did not leave my new friend, we would be finished forever. Being foolish and caught up in the memories of our past dreams and goals, I agreed. I ended my relationship with my new friend, a decision I regret deeply to this day. I did send her an apology via email, but we no longer speak because I hurt her too much. Then my ex confronted me with the truth. On the first day we reconciled, she revealed that she had been communicating with multiple guys, even dating one, and that she had returned only because things did not work out with them and she missed what we once had. She had waited for me to sever ties with my new friend before disclosing all this, knowing that I would not have taken her back had I known earlier. Despite knowing all this, I gave her another chance, convincing myself that perhaps I could make all this pain worthwhile. However, it only worsened. A few weeks later, she made a friend, a guy she had been flirtatious and dating with before we even met. She reconnected with him after his sister reached out, claiming he still thought about her. She reassured me not to worry, but again, I was the only one being completely transparent with my social media accounts while she concealed things. As time went on, she texted me less frequently, spent more time with him, and surprised, she left me for him after just a week of rekindling their old spark. After a few weeks, they broke up because he did something wrong, according to her, and she returned to talk to me again. She began to manipulate me once more, saying things like, "You are the only one who makes me happy." You might wonder why I kept giving her chances, and honestly, it's because our dreams and goals together provided me with a reason to live. Before her, I had nothing, no future, no ambition, just depression. I kept trying to make us work because I did not want to lose the motivation she had given me, even though I know now that is extremely unhealthy. We reunited, but she established a pattern. She would engage in lengthy conversations for a few days, then become unresponsive only to say, "I need a break." I left her alone each time. Imagine the emotional stress I endured after months of this on and off cycle. She did this 7 times. I should blame myself for staying, but what kept me motivated was the memory of the happiness we once shared. She continued to promise that she would try to commit and be better, admitting that I was not the issue anymore, that it was her failure to act on her words. Meanwhile, I continued to improve myself, achieving good grades, staying fit, and walking daily, while she was trapped in a cycle of empty promises. Eventually, the emotional stress caused my heart issues to resurface. My sleep deteriorated, my breathing became labored, and it genuinely felt as if my heart was being harmed. My friends noticed how profoundly she was affecting me as well. Each time she returned, I was hurt even more. Ultimately, I decided to end the cycle and stop giving her more chances. She suddenly realized the damage she had caused and pleaded for another chance, asserting that she would finally stop merely talking and start taking action. I was hopeful for a moment, but then another significant problem emerged. She had been creating multiple gaming accounts to conceal the fact that she was playing with other guys. One day, I caught her by creating a false account, joining the games she was in, and witnessing it firsthand. When I confronted her with screenshots, she broke down, admitted how terrible she had been, and confessed that during the early stages of our on-and-off relationship, she had been conversing with her ex, something she had failed to disclose to me for 3 months while still giving me false hope. After all this, I was not the same. I no longer had hope in her. I barely spoke, exchanging only short conversations. One day, she finally stated, "What we have is not healthy. It is not your fault, it is mine, and I know that." She expressed a desire to reconnect with God, to establish new goals, and affirmed that it was time to say goodbye. Her final words to me were, "It has been lovely, thank you. You do not have to write anything elaborate, just thank you. I truly mean it, goodbye," while also telling me that throughout all these months, I had been wonderful to her, providing her with chances repeatedly, knowing that no other man would likely do this unless he was genuinely trying to make things work following all this pain. She deleted her Discord account afterward. I omitted many small details, but those are the main points. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Honestly, I am seeking help on how to process all of this as my mind is still chaotic. I miss her, but I recognize that I do not miss her as a person. I miss the moments we shared when we were happy. I am fearful that I will never find something like that again, and I regret betraying the friend who was genuinely there for me. Thank you for taking the time to read this. I understand it was lengthy. Story 3. Caught my boyfriend 20 getting way too close with my new friend Angela, a lesbian. He admitted, "I've never felt so seen and validated, but I was right there." Now he sends her selfies post-party. Am I overreacting, or is this emotional cheating? My boyfriend, 20 years old male, and I, 19 years old female, have been dating for a little over 2 years. We have encountered some issues in our relationship, but I have never experienced actual jealousy until now. Recently, I made a new female friend named Angela. It is important to note that she is a lesbian and has had a girlfriend for about 1 month. After we became quite close, I decided to introduce her to my boyfriend. They immediately hit it off and honestly appeared to get along even better than Angela and I do. They share a similar sense of humor, enjoy the same activities, and frequently tease each other in a friendly manner. At first, I dismissed this and was simply glad they were connecting, but at this point I am fed up. What began as small red flags, such as my boyfriend mentioning how intense and bossy she is, has escalated into something resembling emotional cheating. For instance, one evening we were all having dinner together and he mentioned his mental health struggles. Angela immediately focused on him, making unwavering eye contact and bombarding him with probing questions. She claimed that she completely understood him and everything he was expressing. Initially, I thought it was sweet and did not think much of it, but afterwards he kept saying he had never felt so seen and validated by anyone. This stung a little, considering I am his actual girlfriend and have been through some significant experiences with him. There have been several other similar instances where they engage in deep emotional conversations without including me. The next incident occurred at a party. My boyfriend arrived about 30 minutes before it ended to pick me up and take me home. He ended up staying for a while and we were sitting on the couch together. Angela approached us and plopped down next to him and they began chatting. I was unaware of what was happening at the time because I was quite out of it, but she was leaning on him and grabbing his bicep throughout their conversation. I realized she was intoxicated, but I find it rather disrespectful on her part. He mentioned it the following day, saying it felt strange being surrounded by two girls leaning on him. I asked, "So you enjoyed it?" He laughed it off, but it was clear that he enjoyed the attention from females. At another party this past weekend, my boyfriend and I arrived about 2 hours late. We walked in and Angela and I chatted for a couple of minutes before she left me to talk to my boyfriend. I felt a little upset, but I chose to ignore it and went to speak with another female friend. Across the room, I saw them laughing, and he looked so happy, happier than he seems when he is with me. I even noticed her playfully pushing him a few times and getting uncomfortably close to his face. Later that night, my boyfriend and I were in a corner and Angela was in the bathroom throwing up. He expressed concern for her, and when she returned and sat on the couch, he went to sit next to her without even acknowledging me. In that moment, I felt like crying. Again, I found myself staring at them from across the room, overwhelmed with jealousy and anger. When he suddenly felt sick and had to go to the bathroom, I went with him. While I was comforting him and offering him water, Angela barged into the bathroom, approached him directly, and began touching his back while telling him to throw up so he could feel better. Her brother intervened and took her out of the bathroom, but I was so fed up that I told my boyfriend we needed to leave immediately. Without saying goodbye to her, we departed. The next day, my boyfriend said, "I don't know why, but after we left, I sent Angela this Snapchat. It was a picture of him saved in the chat along with a text that said something like, "I don't know what happened, but I really hope you're okay and not feeling too sick." This was honestly the last straw for me because I do not understand why he is so concerned about another woman's well-being. He seems to genuinely enjoy her company and cares deeply for her. I hope I do not sound irrational or possessive, but it really hurts to see my boyfriend so intrigued by and concerned for someone who is supposed to be my friend. They continue to send Snapchat messages and TikToks back and forth constantly, and I am at a loss as to how to address this or bring it up to him. I am not even sure if my feelings of being upset are valid. Any advice would be appreciated.